Hey guys, it's DGAFpanda and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a foundation video. I had mentioned in my previous video, which was in my monthly favorites video, that I would be doing a review and demo on the Armani Power Fabric Foundation. And today is the day that we'll be testing that foundation out to see how it wears throughout the day. So first things first, let's just talk about the foundation for just a minute. This is a full coverage foundation from GIORGIO Armani. It is one of their first foundations that has full coverage. I know that everybody's been obsessed with the Luminous Silk foundation. I have tried the Luminous Silk, but I didn't like it because I have oily skin and it just didn't work out for me. This foundation is for all skin types, from sensitive, normal, dry, combination, and oily. It is a matte natural finish, so it is going to be mattifying, but at the same time it's going to give you that natural finish that's not going to make you look too made up. It does have SPF 25, which if you know me lately, I am all about skincare, so SPF 25 is amazing because it's going to protect you from the sun damage. So reading from the Sephora website, what it says, the foundation melts into the skin, blurring imperfections while offering daily UVA SPF, basically. Through Armani's Beauty's own microfit technology, powerful ultrafine pigments are shaped to provide the highest coverage foundation with the thinnest and lightest texture. Allowing a little to go a long way, this foundation combines high coverage, an SPF 25 filter, and an ultralight formula to achieve flawless results for up to 16-hour wear. And it does come in 20 shades that is suitable for all skin tones, which is amazing because that's so many shades. And each foundation is adapted for each shade to deliver optimal coverage without cracking or dulling, which is amazing because I find that my foundation tends to break up around my nose and on my cheeks where I get super oily, so I'm really curious as to how it's going to wear as I start to produce more oils and I start to get oily throughout the day. So that's basically all that the website says. The claims are full coverage, SPF 25, and 16-hour wear, and it's supposed to melt onto your skin. So already, sign me up. Foundation just sounds like a religious experience. If y'all know me, I am obsessed with foundations. It does retail for $64, which is kind of on the hefty side. It is not my first designer foundation. I know that Marc retails for $55, and I do have a Burberry foundation, which is also in the same range. So $64 for an Armani foundation is not that bad because you are paying for the luxury, you're paying for that brand name, you're paying for the packaging, and this is what the baby looks like. And I have this in the shade 4.5. This is a light medium color or light color for yellow undertones. With that being said, guys, without wasting any more of your precious time, let's just jump into the demo. So keep watching. Okay guys, so first things first, I'm going to be using the NARS Pore and Shine Control Primer. This is one of their new primers that actually just came out and I'm totally living for it. I feel like it just really diminishes the look of my pores, and on top of that, it really helps to create a nice shine controlling barrier between my skin and the foundation. And I love to tap it on because I feel like when I tap it on, I'm really getting the product on, and this will just apply my foundation so much better. So next, obviously, I will be taking the GIORGIO Armani Power Fabric Foundation. I have this in the shade 4.5, which I believe is a light skin type with yellow undertones. I do find that the foundation works for me and it does blend into my skin tone. However, it is on the lighter side. So I'm going to go ahead and take one pump. Today, I will be using a beauty blender and a brush. I will be using the Decay Optical Blurring Brush and my black beauty blender, which is for full coverage foundations. Like I said, I'm going to be taking one pump, putting it on the back of my hand, and as you can see, the consistency is liquidy, but at the same time, it has like a thick consistency. It's not like droopy, it's not moving around too much. And I'm going to be taking my optical blurring brush from Decay first, and I'm just going to mist it with some water because I find that the bristles get really hard from using liquid foundation. So I like to just wet the brush to kind of soften it out again. I'm just going to be dabbing the foundation brush into the foundation, and I'm just going to be applying that to the right side of my face, and I'm just going in, no chill. Okay guys, so that is one layer of foundation on my face. That is a whole pump of foundation on the right side of my face using the optical blurring brush from Decay. And I have to say the coverage is pretty great for the most part. It's not 100% full coverage. Like, this isn't giving me the coverage that the Marc foundation would give me on just by blending it out. It's not quite full coverage. It's more of a medium full coverage. Like, I can still see some of my blemishes, but my skin tone is completely evened out. And it's just like my really dark spots that are showing through right now. But I'm gonna go ahead and actually go in with my beauty blender before I start even like layering on. So again, I'm going to be taking another pump of the foundation, putting it on the back of my hand. And this time I'm going in with my damp beauty blender, and I'm going to be applying this on the left side of my face. So I'm just going to go in starting on my cheeks. Okay guys, so there is one pump of foundation on one side of my face and one side of my face. Beauty Blender Optical Blurring Brush from Urban Decay. I have to say guys, for the most part, I really like the Beauty Blender side. I feel like the Beauty Blender side just blended and melted the foundation into my skin. I feel like with the brush, the foundation's slightly setting into my pores or my acne scars, and I'm not really liking the way it's looking. I definitely like the way the Beauty Blender looks. It just looks amazing. It looks so airbrushed compared to this side. And I'm not saying that it looks bad. I'm just saying in comparison to the Beauty Blender is definitely the route to go. But I'm gonna go ahead and try layering on more product. So I'm gonna be taking another pump of the Armani Power Fabric Foundation. Again, I'm just gonna be taking my brush and gonna start applying that where I need the extra coverage. Okay, so I applied the second layer of foundation to the right side of my face, which I used the Optical Blurring Brush from Urban Decay. I have to say the coverage is getting better, however, there is still some acne scars peeking through. I mean, it could just be how lightweight this foundation is, that it's obviously not going to be thick enough to kind of resurface that texture on my skin. But it doesn't look bad, it looks actually really good. I look very airbrushed. And again, I'm taking another pump and gonna go in with the Beauty Blender. And I'm just gonna start applying that. Normally, I like to apply more coverage on my cheeks because that's where I have my acne scars and that's where I need the most coverage. Okay guys, so this is the Optical Blurring Brush from Urban Decay. And this side is the Beauty Blender side. They both look really good, and honestly on camera, like I'm looking at my viewfinder and it looks really good on camera. However, in person, I have to say the Beauty Blender side just looks so much more melted into my skin. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Beauty Blender to kind of melt the brush side into my skin just because I prefer it so much. I feel like it looks so much more natural. And that's not to say that, you know, it's a full coverage foundation. Like it's not necessarily that I want to look natural. I just like the way that the Beauty Blender makes it sink into my, or melt into my pores, and that's probably sounds like it's clogging my pores, but it's not, and that looks a million times better. So yeah, for me personally, Beauty Blender wins hands down. Okay, so I'm gonna do a flash photography test. Obviously, the foundation does have a white cast on me because this shade is light for me, but it looks really good. My skin looks really good as far as the texture, and I'm absolutely living for it. So anyway, with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply the rest of my makeup, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I finished applying the rest of my makeup, and the foundation looks really great, I have to say. I kept it pretty natural. I'm not wearing too much makeup, though I am, but I'm not. I will be checking back in with you hourly, or not every hour, but like every so many hours to see how the foundation is wearing throughout the day. It is now 4:33. And I'll be back in a couple of hours to check back in with you guys to see how the foundation is wearing throughout the day. So stay tuned. It is now 9:21 at night. It has been 5 hours since I initially put on my foundation and I went about my day. I haven't really been doing much. I've been kind of at home all day, but I have noticed, guys, that my foundation looks really good. I will say though that it is starting to get oily on my T-zone and literally just on my T-zone, but it still looks good as far as coverage. So what I'm gonna do, and I don't know if you can see this, but it has a very subtle luminosity to it. It doesn't look greasy, but it's definitely starting to look more on the dewy side. And because I have oily skin, that's never a good thing in my opinion. But it still looks very good as far as the coverage. Like none of the foundation is breaking apart. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my BLOTERAZZI, and I'm just gonna pat that in the places that I need it. I will say that the BLOTERAZZI took a little bit of the coverage off of the tip of my nose. However, everything else looks just fine. Even like around the areas around my nose and underneath my mouth are perfectly fine. It didn't remove any of the coverage. It was just on the tip of my nose that it removed the coverage. If you can see that, it's slightly red, but it doesn't look horrible. In that case, I don't even know what I would do. I think normally if I was like out and about, what I would do is I would just grab like a powder foundation and I would just tap on a little bit on the tip of my nose just to give that coverage back because we don't want any awkward. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit on the side of my nose and then just a little bit right here. And again, it's good as new. So I will continue to see how long the foundation wears. So this is just my first checkup. So stay tuned for later so I can come back before washing off my makeup and for the conclusion of the video. So it is now 9:24. It is now 9:24 and I'll be back in a couple of hours to conclude the video. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so it's now 1:15 in the morning. I've been wearing this foundation for a total of about 8 hours now. Don't quote me on that, I'll have an accurate amount of time somewhere here. And I have to say guys, overall the foundation is wearing relatively well. My only concern is my T-zone where it is starting to look super shiny and it's not looking cute. It is starting to feel slightly heavy around my nostrils and my nose, which is typical of a foundation after wearing it for so long. It's just that time of day. My forehead is starting to get oily, but I didn't touch that up at all earlier, so that's normal. As far as my nose, the coverage is still there. It's not looking patchy whatsoever. Sometimes I find that as foundations tend to wear throughout the day, it'll start to separate on my nose or underneath on my chin, where like I typically touch my face, like I'm normally scratching my nostrils or like I'm playing with my chin with my finger or whatever. And so those are the places that I tend to find that the foundation tends to break up overall. However, with this foundation, I don't see that problem. The only place that it is breaking up is the side of my nose right here, and you probably can't even tell on camera. That's one of those things where if you're really nitty-gritty, you're gonna see, but other people probably won't notice. It is starting to clump up slightly in the middle of my eyebrows, but coverage is still there. The foundation is still wearing relatively well. It's not amazing anymore, but after 8 hours, like, it's doing a pretty good job as far as coverage. I feel like if I were to just touch up, it would still look fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do that using my BLOTERAZZI. And I'm just going to go ahead and tap it on the places where I've gotten oily like I did earlier. So after having used my BLOTERAZZI on my T-zone and where I'm shiny, the foundation still looks pretty good. It was not, unfortunately though, it was not able to take off all the oil on my face. I still have some on the top of my lip and underneath my eyes, and it did take away some of the coverage on my nose. But again, after wearing it for 7 to 8 hours, that's pretty normal. Like, I'm not impressed with the foundation because of it, because these are just normal things. So overall, I'm just going to go ahead and conclude the video, guys. This foundation claims to be full coverage. It claims to be for sensitive, normal, dry, combination, and oily skin. And I will agree that it is full coverage, granted that it is buildable. I wouldn't say that from one pump you're going to be able to get full coverage, or at least not to the level of glam that I like my foundations to be at. But if you have perfect skin, one pump will probably get you even coverage. However, if you have more acne-prone skin, or you have that scarring, or you have that hyperpigmentation or rosacea or whatever it may be, you will need more than 2 pumps. I think with 2 pumps you'll be fine. So again, I can agree that it is full coverage. As far as skin types, I think that anybody can really pull off this foundation because I don't feel like it's overly mattifying that people with dry skin, it would cling to their dry patches or make them feel dry. So I think that if you have dry skin, you'll be fine using this. If you have combination or oily skin like myself, this will be a great foundation just because it is going to mattify you, but it's not going to over mattify to the point where it doesn't look like skin. I just feel like when you use full coverage foundations, you still want your skin to look like skin. You don't want it to look overly made up. It also claims to have a second skin finish, and although it is super full coverage, I will say, guys, that it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything. This foundation is so lightweight that literally doesn't feel like you're wearing anything. Normally when you're glammed up, it's not like annoying or like you can't feel it, but you do obviously know that you're wearing foundation. With this, I found myself forgetting that I was wearing foundation when it was still fresh because it literally felt like nothing. Right now, obviously it's starting to get heavy in my T-zone, but I am wearing a concealer, so that could be it also. And I will say that they did talk about this, like the fabric technology in it that actually like allows it to not move or separate from the skin. I will say that that did do a relatively great job underneath the eye area because I feel like right next to my nose, that's normally where the foundation starts to separate, and I didn't find that it was doing that in this case, so I will give them a thumbs up on that. So with that being said, guys, I am definitely giving this foundation a thumbs up. I think it's very much worth the $64 that you are paying for this luxurious foundation. I do feel like you're getting all the benefits that they claim to have, so I definitely give this foundation a thumbs up. I am really excited to have tried out this foundation and to have actually found a foundation that I love. I feel like I haven't really tried foundations that I absolutely love from the get-go, and this is just one of those foundations that I absolutely love because it's so full coverage, it looks natural, and it's so lightweight. Definitely give this a thumbs up. I definitely recommend you go buy it or get yourself a sample of it because I think that this is a great, amazing foundation. So with that being said, guys, that basically concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not so already, and make sure you add me on Instagram and Snapchat at DGAFpanda. And if you watch this video all the way to the very end, let me know what your favorite full coverage foundation is down in the description. Until next time, guys, DGAFpanda out.